You will not believe it when I tell you that this beautiful looking church is not at Subukia in Nakuru, but it is a church in West Pokot at a place called Sok. It is a church, the headquarters of a church called Mafuta African Church. First of all, it is at a place called Sok. Sok is a Pokot word. Sok is a type of a tree, but yet again, non-Pokots, especially Luhya, call Pokots Suku, Abasuku. Although in Luhya language, Abasuku has a hidden meaning. Abasuku in Luhya means Pokots, and it also means enemy. So it started in those days when the worst enemies of the Luhya were Pokots. That is why if a Luhya says wewe ni Musuku, he either means you are a Pokot or you are an enemy. So this church was built at Suk, and I have a personal relationship with the church running many years ago. I remember the last time I interacted with the church, if I am not wrong, then it is in 1987. From 1987 up to today is a lot of years. This church broke off from Dini ya Musambwa. It broke off from Dini ya Musambwa. Initially, just like any other religion, we have, am I allowed to say that we have an archbishop? Then we have bishops for various regions or various dioceses. So if we can say that Elijah Masinde Ohwanameme was the archbishop of Dini ya Musambwa, then we could say this was the Pokot diocese of Dini ya Musambwa. At the time I was interacting with them, they had broken off from Dini ya Musambwa and they had started calling themselves Mafuta Church, but I'll come to that. So, they broke off from Dini ya Musambwa. They have become arguably as many as Dini ya Musambwa today. If you count them today, I think they are as many or even more than Dini ya Musambwa. They are even more active than Dini ya Musambwa today. And they are very visible than Dini ya Musambwa. The history of this church, as far as the Pokot area is concerned, can be traced back in 1950s. Exactly 1950, when under a leader, the leader, okay, we can call him the Bishop of Pokot C. He was called Lucas Kech. Lucas Kech was in charge of the Pokot diocese, if I can call it that. Then when he was in charge of that diocese, in April 1950, that is 24th April 1950, he led Pokots in resistance to the British government. He convinced Pokots, there were 300 of them. He convinced the Pokots, that Pokot warriors, that believing in God and praying, if somebody was shot, if a gun was shot at you, because of the powers of prayers, that bullet will turn into water. So you can see Majimaji was also here. So he convinced them, and there was there were some Wazungu police officers. One was an assistant superintendent. He was assisted by an assistant inspector. I can't recall the names. They went for an operation and they met face to face with 300 Pokot warriors. When they met the 300 Pokot warriors, the Pokot warriors went for them. There were about 5 or 6 home guards and the assistant inspector and the inspector. No, assistant inspector and the assistant superintendent. They, they confronted around 300 warriors who had spears, arrows, and bows and arrows and spears. They confronted these people and a fight broke out at a place called Koloa. If you have ever heard of Koloa massacre, this is the Koloa massacre. Koloa is in today's Tiati. It is in today's Tiati in Baringo County. This is part of Baringo County that is occupied by Pokot, and it is known as East Pokot. And that is why you hear the county of West Pokot, because there is East Pokot, which was swallowed up by Baringo, and West Pokot, which is a complete county. No, West Pokot is from Kapenguria all the way to Turkwel Gorge. But then in 1972, when Charles Nyachai, Simeon Nyachai, not Charles Nyachai, Charles Nyachai is the son to Simeon Nyachai. When Simeon Nyachai was the provincial commissioner of Rift Valley, in 1972, he went to Kacheliba to regain back Karapokot. Karapokot is Pokot land that was being ruled from Karamoja area. So West Pokot County is composed of 2 Pokots. It is composed of the former Karapokot, which is Kacheliba and Alale sub-counties, and the Central Pokot, which is Kapenguria all the way to Sigor and Turkwel Gorge. So Turkwel Gorge, Sigor, you join up to Kapenguria. That one, if you join it with Karapokot, it forms West Pokot County. Roughly, we can say Central Pokot and West and Karapokot makes West Pokot County, but East Pokot is still part of Baringo Tiati. So Koloa massacre happened in Tiati area at a place called Koloa, and this is what happened. Here we have around 6 home guards under the command of an assistant superintendent, assisted by assistant inspector of police. They confronted the 300 Pokots who were Dini and Musambwa followers, and these people started, they had been indoctrinated that with the prayers, bows, arrows, and spears, bullets would do nothing to them. You remember there were 300, approximately 300. So when they confronted these people, these 6 home guards with the 2 senior officers, assistant inspector and assistant superintendent, started shooting into the 300. And these people, they were falling and others coming. So when the 100 were killed, the others came and killed. And you know, any police officer, you just shoot one person and kill one person, and you expect the crowd. Just take a crowd, or let's say like a Mandamano in Kenya today. If you shoot 2 to 3 people dead, this is one thing that happens. Simultaneous, 2 things happen simultaneous. You as a police officer, you get shocked, realizing that somebody has just lost his life. And the Bandamano people who are behind those people will realize that those who are in the forefront have done what? They have died. So they'll run away. That is what happens. In a Mandamano, just 2 to 3 people need to be killed, and the whole mandamano is broken. But those are the people who still believe. And even when they saw others falling, they did not even know that they were dying or anything. They were indoctrinated. So they just went and got hold of those people, killed them. When they killed them, uh, they were fined. Each and every household in East Pokot were fined 500 heads of cattle. People were rich then, because by today's standard, if you have 500 heads of cattle, you are not poor. But each and every household was. And this plus other instances, which happened, this happened on April 24th, 1950, 11 years before I was born. Now people ask me, unajuaje mambo ya JM and you're in standard 2, standard 7, or Tomboya? I know about something that happened 11 years before I was born. This plus others led to the British government banning Dini ya Msamba. So before Kenya attained independence, the Pokot arm of Dini ya Msamba came up now with a new name. Just like we had ODM and ODM Kenya. Then ODM Kenya changed its name to Wiper Party. So anybody born today would not know that Wiper Democratic Party used to be called ODM Kenya. That is the same way that somebody born today will not know that Africa Mafuta Mafuta Pole Africa broke off from Dini ya Msambwa. Now, fast forward to September 1984. I joined the special branch. When I joined the special branch in September 1984, I think it was early 1985, because I joined in September, and then in November I went for my basic intelligence officers course. Then early 1986, early 1985, my very first in my very first function as a handler, I was given to handle a member of this very same church. He was the very first agent that I handled. Now, the first time we met, after I was handed over to him. During the first meeting, you just meet a person who has been handling him before. Hands over to you, says habari mzuri, huyu anaitwa kwa tenge, huyu anaitwa nani. I can't even recall the name of that person. Although something in my head tells me the name was Musa. But anyway, let's call him Musa, because I think he was called Musa. So he was introduced to me. We did the introduction and whatever. We made a plan on when to meet next. We made a plan on when to meet next. And the next time we went to meet, the first question he asked me, Kijana, when were you born? I told him I was born on Sunday, 16th July, 1961. He told me that he has been spying on that religion since 1959. Meaning, he has been spying on that religion for 2 years before I was born, non-stop, all the way until I completed Form 6, all the way that I completed Kiganjo, GSU, whatever. 1985, that one is how many years? Is it 26 years? He had been doing that job for 26 years. And me, I was meeting him when I was less than 6 months old in the job. He was a very good man. I can say he's a very good man, because he used to handle me. Instead of me handling him, he was the one who was handling me. There are even occasions when someone would come, find us talking, and he would be very quick and say, kijana, ulikula ile mbuzi ya wenyewe na umelipa pesa nusu. Sasa usipolipa, mimi ndio itabidi nilipe. This church, when Kibaki became the president, he recognized that church. My estimation, I think by that time that Musa must have died. Or if he has not died, he's very old. And you see, when Kibaki recognized it as a legal church, special branch ceased monitoring it. Special branch ceased, or by then it was NIS. NIS stopped monitoring it. And I also want to thank Mwai Kibaki. I think Kenya should thank me because I'm the first person to be sacked for saying that Kibaki would make the best president Kenya will ever have. Today, 22 years after Kibaki was sworn in as the president, very many people can still associate themselves with what I said. So that church became legal, and that is when they built a good building at uh, Sok. And I said the meaning of Sok. I think the place is called Mwino. The place is called Mwino. Uko mstuni, as you're moving from Kapenguria, you go to Makutano. On your way to Kacheliba, before you get to Toski na Mutembur, let me not continue talking. It is nostalgic and it is emotional. Thank you for watching my videos. Utaangalia hiyo shingo uone vile nimeanza kunona. It's because of you who watching it, but especially you sending some. Most of the money I get it through the pay bill. Yeah, pay bill. You getting into my pay bill has hii shingo itanona hata zaidi. Thank you again.